What's happening, J-Law?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen?
I'm just sitting here saying to myself, boy, you know how much it sucks that for Aaron Rodgers to get hurt for the Jets, but you know what? The Browns and the Bengals and the Vikings and the Colts all lost their franchise quarterbacks, and they seem to be in the playoff hunt. Browning looks like he's the reincarnation of Drew Bledsoe tonight. They still find a way to win games, but no, Jets can't do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are not alone in the unfortunate circumstances of the quarterback position for them. Now, it obviously, 4 snaps in and the new team and all the hoopla and all that. I get it. It is different on some levels for sure, but it doesn't have to be a death sentence. I mean, it shouldn't be like what is it, like 6 or 7 straight games with 13 points or less? I mean, like, it doesn't have to be that dire. It isn't that dire in other places, especially when you have the backing from a defense like they have received. It's an abject failure offensively, right?
Sure,
I mean,
it is.
It's pretty horrific.
No, and then I get today, Zach Wilson, the Jets might want to go back to him, but he might not want to play. No, then Robert Saleh says, no, he really does want to play. I'm going, why can't the Jets just fade into obscurity for the rest of this? No, we're going to be a front-page tire fire the rest of the way.
Well, but I mean, fade into obscurity, like... No, there's always been something there. Adam Gase's press conference was a thing. Like, I mean, I don't know about fading into obscurity.
Just
like,
for the
good luck
season.
With that in Gotham.
Just for
with
the season.
Woody running the ship? Come on. Like, obscurity would, you should aspire to obscurity. I don't think it's going to happen.
That should be put on a T-shirt. Aspire to obscurity. That's a T-shirt right there.
We'll work on the designs.
Yeah.
All right, Jason.
Ain't getting wrong with it.
49ers do more damage. Brock Purdy now the betting favorite for MVP, and they unleash Deebo Samuel, another part of that offense.
Yeah.
How big is that gap between them and these other squads?
Well, look, when Trent Williams plays, they're at a certain level. And obviously that defense post-trade deadline and getting Chase Young and coming off their bye and getting healthier and getting Bosa healthier. With San Francisco at full optimum availability and efficiency is something else. Now, what does the future hold? And, Trent Williams, a guy who's in the past when he's gotten hurt, it's tended to manifest itself and remanifest. They go as he goes. I mean, if Purdy's the MVP, then it's really Trent Williams.
Is Purdy the top of your ballot right now? If I say your MVP ballot, I mean, I know it's got to be Zach Wilson first, but after that, is Purdy at the top?
If I had to vote for it right now, jeez,
Look, when we talked about it last week,
I have a hard time.
Go ahead.
I have a hard time anointing somebody right now.
Because I got Dak and C.J. Stroud at the top of my list right now for different. Dak, he's been on a heater the last 5 weeks and has been incredible. Yeah. And C.J. Stroud to do what he's doing and have the Texans who are starting over in playoff contention.
That's got to beat a good team, dude. For me to call Dak the MVP of the freaking league, like he's got to beat a good team. Like them surviving Seattle, and I understand he did his part, but Seattle's pretty broken defensively right now. Like he's got to beat a good team for me, and ideally beat a good team on the road, because those guys are some serious homers. So I can't go there. And Stroud, I mean, I like what's going on there for sure. Is he the MVP of the league? I don't know. I mean, I guess he's certainly in the conversation. I'm glad that they're not voting on it right now because it'd be a hell of a thing. I mean, I think it's the same names we've been talking about. I don't think there's been a whole lot of separation, and I think this is unwritten for obvious reasons. I mean, look at the stretch that's in front of Hurts. Look at the stretch that's in front of a guy like Lamar Jackson. I mean, this might be totally crazy, but what if the Buffalo Bills come off the bye and run the table? Or do anything close to run the table? Like, I understand Josh Allen had some terrible interceptions games early in the year. He also is doing some things on a regular basis. You know, what's asked of him goes beyond a lot of other guys. Like, I'll never totally, write Mahomes off. I mean, it doesn't seem to be trending in a particularly good direction, obviously. And I get it. It's not going to be a vintage Mahomes year, but I guess Dak if you're going to say there ends up being a statistical outlier, maybe it's Dak. But, like, if they're the fourth best team, if they're the fourth seed in a year of extreme parity in a conference that's worse than the other one, he's going to be the MVP? I mean, maybe, but, like, what would they, like, I don't know. They'd probably be, like, people figured they'd probably be the fourth seed, right? I mean, I don't know. I guess because the running game stalled a little bit. I mean, I like what he's doing, but, like, well, if you're with Stroud, what if Jordan Love runs the table?
I was just going to ask about him.
Did you just say
because
forget about the first 6 weeks? It was a learning curve, but he took them from the depths of despair to the playoffs? I mean, I don't know.
See, he already wrote the speech for him.
He did. There you go.
From the depths of despair. That's how you start the column there, Jason.
There you go. The depths of despair.
But the last month, I mean, Jordan Love's certainly a different quarterback. We'll see what the analysis is of Watson's injury after he went down with the hamstring. But, I mean, they haven't gotten exactly great efficiency out of the run game. It's been all on his arm.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I don't think it's going to be any of these younger guys. I think it's going to be, in some ways, will probably come down to the one seed in the, who ends up being the one seed in the NFC and who ends up being the one seed in the AFC. If their quarterbacks stay healthy, they're going to be two of the top three vote getters in all honesty, in all likelihood, and maybe somebody from the field tabs them. But if you look at how close this thing is bunched up, I don't think like if I was sizing this up from a gambling perspective, it's like, okay, well, who do you think? If you're playing that market, you're essentially playing who's going to be the one seed. Or in the case of Dallas, maybe they're not the one seed, or maybe they could be, but it's going to be hard with the one loss to Philly already. But could they close the gap on Philly? I mean, could they win that division? But I think it's going to be, probably 1-1.
Hey, Jay, obviously we talk about the Jets not acquiring a quarterback at the deadline. That's gotten a lot of attention no matter what, and I get that. But, boy, I'll tell you, from something that affects the entirety of the season and who can get to the Super Bowl, I watch the Chiefs and I go, this is an offense that absolutely needed to go get a wide receiver.
Oh, yeah, hell
yeah.
And
you can see how much they are struggling trying to make it happen. Look, and Rashee Rice is a nice player, but you can just tell this is not the same offense. They absolutely had to go out and get somebody, and they didn't, and that could cost them the Super Bowl.
No, absolutely. I wrote about it at the Washington Post, talked to some people who watched the film of their first game against the Lions, and were like, nah, Andy Reid, there's no way he could be satisfied with this. And then, they make their little move for Hardman or whatever, and there are people telling me there's no way they can be satisfied with this. And I know that they had conversations with teams about receivers, and obviously nothing, ultimately happened, and nothing, I guess prices were too high or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, there's not much dependable there. And, you got guys sort of still not aligned correctly, and I mean everybody's sort of youth and inexperience or lack of comfort with their role is ever present. Valdez-Scantling, like, he'll never make a big play. No. Like, throwing the ball to him, like, the best case scenario is it hits the ground. That's like the best you could probably hope for. It's just it's not a smooth operation, and it's hard to think that it's going to hit that next level now. I have a hard time thinking it will. But the defense is really good. The run game, has picked up, and I think Andy Reid's going to continue to lean more heavily into that, and I think his tackles are more comfortable doing some of that stuff. They've just got to unlock a few more plays in the red zone. They've got to, if they could come up with, and maybe it's something as dumb as McKinnon coming back, because down the stretch last year, he was a touchdown machine for them. Like, they just need some other safety valve or outlet in the red zone. Maybe it's the second tight end who caught one last night. Something else has to